Hello, welcome back to the homestead. Last week we showed you how to put the seeds in the soil. This week we're going to show you what to do to care for the seedlings after they've come up and all the things that we have done that you can learn from. Right here you can see that we've raised up our seedlings a little bit. We just put them on some platforms to get them closer to the light. You could bring your lights closer or you could bring these up. Depending on your lights, you may not need to. If they're strong enough, you could keep them a foot or more away from the lights, but that would be a very strong set of lights. You also need to be sure that you're not bringing them so close to the lights that they would start to cook underneath them, because that's not going to be good for your seedlings. We've also put some fans on there to introduce a little bit of wobble to the seedlings, just so that they build up a strong stem and they're not super stringy and weak, and then they go outside and they just bend over and get broken.
You have a little fan and a bigger fan.
Yes, we've got a little fan up there that I think is currently just on all the time, and this one, which I don't have set to oscillate because it's set up on a box and it's just on a timer to go on and off every once in a while. All right, now I'll show you what we do to thin out the seedlings. Since I planted 3 or 4 tomato seeds per cell, I'm going to cut out 1 or 2 of them, maybe another couple of them later, until we get down to just 1 tomato seedling per cell. And this is just kind of going for what you think is going to be the best choice. On some of them, there's only 2 seedlings coming up. I might leave both of them in there for now. On some of them, I've got 5 coming up, and I'm just gonna look and see, do some of them look weaker? Are they on the edge instead of in the middle of the cell? Are they too tall? Or are their leaves messed up in some way? Like this one, I see that this little guy inside there has a kind of a skinny part in his stem. Not sure why. Not sure if it's a problem, but I've definitely got others to be backups for later. Cut that out.
Why do you cut instead of pull?
If you're pulling, you could disturb the roots from the other ones that are in the soil. And I'm not sure that there would be any kind of danger of the roots remaining in the soil causing a problem for the other roots. I think at this stage they'd just kind of disappear in the soil, and the roots from the others would be just fine.
So it's better to cut instead of pull out your little seedlings so that you thin them, so that you don't danger the roots of the ones you're keeping. And how many do you want per cell eventually?
In the end, on this, I'd just go for 1 per cell. All right, now I believe we'll work on this cell here. There are a lot of tomato seedlings in there, pretty close together. And I think maybe I'll take out some of the shorter, younger ones that are in the middle and just let the bigger ones take that space. On some of these, they're very small. I'm able to just pull them out and get some of the root mass out. They don't have a lot going on in the soil yet, so they haven't probably wrapped themselves up in the other roots. But if you give it a gentle tug and it looks like it's starting to pull up soil, it may be a smarter move to just snip it and not risk hurting the other ones. And I'll take that other one that's small out of there. And take 3, or leave 3, take 2 out of the 5. And I think for now, I'll leave that cell alone. In the end, we'll probably have 1 per cell, but for now, I'll just thin them out a little bit, let them grow for a few more days, come back and maybe thin them again until it's time to up pot them and put them in bigger containers. And we'll make another video for you then. One last detail. I have watered these since I planted the seeds. I've just been adding some generally into the bottom, into the reservoir that they're sitting in. You can, depending on your tray, you might need to lift them up, get some water in underneath until you see that the water is sitting level above whatever ridges you have in the bottom of your tray, or just up a little ways so you know that it'll be able to absorb into your soil. Mine, I can also just put this little watering can straight through one of these little holes, peek in there, see that there's enough water in there. But you can generally tell just looking at the surface if it's starting to look like it's drying out. It probably needs some water. Or if your seedlings start to droop, get some water in there. If you water on top, you could start to disturb the soil a little bit, maybe move the soil away from the roots, or the bases of the stems, which wouldn't be good. And too much water on top can lead to some fungus happening on top, which also could be detrimental to your seeds. So water them underneath if possible. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put these back on the rack now. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments and we'll try to get back to you right away. We'll give you another video once we pot them in maybe a week or so.